All right, my friends, we're going to talk about marketing with Twitter. I'm going to be showing you not only how to get free traffic, but also how to build up relationships that are going to be useful for you, as you need to market things to, bring in JV partners, affiliates, that kind of thing. But first off, what is Twitter? And by the way, I'm not going to bore you with like some big, long overview of everything that we're going to talk about because we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. And I just want you to sit tight, take some notes. If you're not familiar at all with Twitter, pay particular attention here. If you already know what it is, then some of this stuff is going to be, not that informative to you. But first off, Twitter is a microblog. That's how you can think of it. You're able, with a blog, you might post a whole article. With Twitter, you're limited to each post having only 140 characters. The idea of it, and we're going to be checking out the site itself so you can see, firsthand if you haven't had any experience with it. But the idea of it is, what are you doing right now? That's kind of the theme that is on Twitter, and that was the original goal. Now, obviously, people are using it as a marketing tool now. But originally, it was, and that happens a lot with these Web 2.0, these social networking sites, like MySpace, for example, was originally a place for bands to put their music and information and stuff like that. And look what it has exploded to today. Same thing's kind of happening on Twitter. Originally, it was, just what are you doing right now? And a lot of people still use it for that. The kind of thing, we're, as human beings, we want to know what's going on with each other, right? So you might call up a friend and say, hey, what are you doing? And they just tell you what they're doing. Well, same thing happens on Twitter, except what you do is you log in and you just answer that question. What are you doing right now? And you might say, I'm reading a book. You might say, I'm cooking dinner, any of that kind of stuff. Marketers, at least marketers that are not as savvy as I'm going to show you how to be, will just blatantly post, information about how you can buy some product or something from them. A lot of people ignore that kind of stuff, so I'm not even going to, attempt to get you to do things like that. I'm going to show you how to use Twitter as a leveraging tool, and much more effectively, where you build a relationship, you build a community of loyal followers who are actually interested in what you've got going on. And of course, there are a lot of other benefits that we will be uncovering as we go through here. But Twitter is a social network. Like I just said, people keep up with each other and they communicate. And of course, they market as well. The way that they do it is Twitter allows us to put links inside of those little posts. Now, I'm going to show you real quick before we move on to the next slide. This is what it looks like when you're logged into Twitter. This is my Twitter account. You can see all these posts from people. See how short these are? That is the way that it goes. Just a few lines. That's it. You got 140 characters. Now, let me give you a bit of an overview of what you're seeing here. The number of people that are following me, notice the numbers are really close. I'll tell you why later on. The number of direct messages that I have received. A direct message, by the way, is a message sent specifically to me that other people can't see. More on that later on. But these messages that you're seeing right here, anybody can see those. Okay? And then it shows right here the people that I am following. Here's Jeremy. Let's click on his little deal here so you can keep up with him. And these are posts that Jeremy has made. Now, notice these ones right here that don't have this @ and a name in front of them. Those are the actual posts that Jeremy has made. And if you check out Jeremy's Twitter here, you'll notice he's not doing a whole bunch of marketing, just, blatant marketing posts. He's got a few of them here. He's got one right here and one right there. But they're a couple days apart, and all of his other posts on here are totally related with just personal, personal tweets is what they're called. Each one of these posts right here is called a tweet. Whenever you see these messages that have the @ This is where, like in this example, this is where Jeremy replied to this individual. Okay, Harris Fellman, Cindy Parker, Simon Lung. I don't know if I pronounce his name right. Forgive me, Simon. But whenever somebody posts something that Jeremy is, like let's say that Jeremy is following somebody here, and these are all the people that he is following. If they post something, it's going to show up over here. Okay, and then he can reply to it. And all of this is going to become more apparent here. But what you see is Jeremy's posts and then replies that he has made sending to other people. So these other people, they get, exposure, because if you're following Jeremy, then you're seeing everything that Jeremy has posted. When somebody does a search, like for example, let's say they search on internet marketing, right? Jeremy's the king of internet marketing. His name's going to come up. They're going to click on it. They're going to see all these posts right here. So these people get a lot of exposure. And that's the whole thing. You have people that you are following and people that are following you. Okay, so that's what Twitter looks like. And you can see, like, Jeremy has totally customized his Twitter account, right? This is my account. This is the way that I've got it set up. All of these people, let's go to Brian McElroy. His is pretty much the generic one. He hasn't done a whole bunch with it. But see all these posts right here? So you get, you click on somebody and you totally drill down and find other interesting people, especially other people that are in your niche. And as a matter of fact, I got Brian here. I did not realize he's moving back to Florida. So I'm going to post a reply. He is over there in Buenos Aires right now. And that's the way that it works. You saw I click on that reply, and then I put my little message there, and then it gets posted. Okay, and that's going to show up. Brian's going to be able to see that. And same thing if I go over here to Jeremy. If he had a current post on here, and I know he's been like totally busy the last several days, so he hasn't done much posting, but I could, like this one right here, I could do a reply on that one. The taxes, mailing taxes, that's always fun. So I can do my own. That reminds me, payroll taxes due. Okay, and I post that. Now this shows up on, my site here, but that's going to show up to Jeremy. He's going to be able to see that as well. And when you put that at, that directs it specifically at the person. If you don't put the at, then let me find one of those here. I think I had one this one right here. That one's just to everybody. Anybody who comes to my site, they can see that. Okay, so now let's head back and talk a little bit more about the getting started and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing that you've got to do, obviously, is sign up. What you want to do is try your real name first. Like you'll notice, Jeremy had Jeremy Burns. Most of the big marketers, if you're fortunate enough to get your actual name, then fantastic. It doesn't always work out, though, because Twitter is pretty popular. I tried mine, couldn't get it. So the next thing is a niche branding type name. So you can pick something that describes your niche. Ideally, though, you get that real name because people like, that personal level. And it makes you seem less like you're, some kind of spammer or something that you're going to just send them marketing messages all the time. Now, after you sign up, you might think the first thing to do is go out and get, start following a bunch of people. Start posting a bunch of stuff. No, do not. First thing that you do is edit your profile. Don't post anything. Don't look for any friends. Even if it prompts you and it'll tell you it can go to Hotmail or Yahoo or something like that, Gmail, and look up friends of yours. It'll look in your address book. Don't do that option because you don't want anything until your profile is set up correctly. You don't want anybody coming. You don't want anybody finding you or nothing. Now, what you're going to do in your profile is fill it up like you have a little bio there. You're going to fill that bio up with keywords because that's how a lot of people are going to find you. And then before you follow anybody, you're going to post 4 or 5 helpful or entertaining tweets. Remember, the tweet is just one of those little posts, just like a blog post, but it's on Twitter. You don't want to try to market people right away. In fact, I'm really going to show you there's a kind of like a ratio of what you're going to do. Well, I can go ahead and tell you right now, 95 to 5, right? So 95 personal, entertaining, helpful posts to 5 marketing posts. If you post more marketing messages than that, then people just take you as, somebody who's just trying to market. And that doesn't work well on these social networking sites. So it's okay if the majority of your posts are personal, especially if you can post something helpful or something that is entertaining, something that's going to keep them, coming back and give them something interesting to digest. They're not going to mind if you put some marketing posts in there as well. Especially if you do it right, the marketing posts do not really seem like a marketing post. You know what I mean? If you do it right, you don't just say, hey, I just launched a product, check it out, and then you put a link right there. Okay? You can do something a little bit more creative, like, hey, I saw this, or, if maybe it's an affiliate link or something, thought this might be helpful, something like that. And by the way, there's a tool I'm going to show you later on that you can use to put short URLs in your post, because, right, you only get 140 characters. And a lot of times, especially if it's an affiliate product that you're doing, that's not going to help you out because you won't have enough room to type everything and put the link there and all that. So I'm going to show you a way that you can get around that with a tool called Tiny URL. I'll actually demonstrate it for you later on. And you want to try to tweet frequently. So if you post, like every few days, that's not going to be real good. If you can post a couple of times a day, minimum, that's best. I have seen some people, they post like every 15 minutes all day long, and all that tells me is like, buddy, you have nothing to do. So you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to let everybody know every single thing that you're doing. But if you post a few times a day, that at least keeps people up to date and lets them know that, you're a real person just doing real things, and makes it a little more entertaining. Plus, you get on more of a personal level with these people, right? And the more you tweet, the more followers you're going to get. So let's talk about traffic generation. That's one of the things that top marketers use Twitter for, is getting traffic. You need to think of your followers as an email list. When we were over here on, let's go to Jeremy's site again, because I don't really have a whole lot of followers. He's got 542 followers. Think of that as your email list, because you can message these people. Whenever you post something, they're going to see it because they're following you. Let me find somebody here. There was somebody I saw just today, in fact, that had a ton of followers. I think it was, let's go back one more. And if it's not on this page, I'm just going to tell you about it because I'm not going to waste a bunch of time looking for it. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it. But they had 5,000 followers, something like that. So when you post, those people are going to see it. And if they have found you by searching on, for example, a keyword that was in your bio or something, they're related to whatever niche that is. They're interested. So it's a good source. It's just like a mailing list. The way that it works, and I'm going to have to load a new page here in my browser because I want to show you this tool. This is the tool I was talking to you about a minute ago, Tiny URL. With this, you put in a long URL right here. Those affiliate links that are like crazy, like even they give you an example right here. That turns that into this, something really small. And then you can post that. Here's the way that it works. I'm going to have to go back to mine because I can't really post for Jeremy. But like this one right here. See that right there? That's a normal post. All you got to do is put in the www and all that kind of stuff, and it knows, it'll parse that out, and it'll make it a clickable link. This person right here that I'm following, that's why they're showing up in my list, they used tinyURL. So it just takes up, compared to the length of a lot of affiliate links, it takes up a lot less space. You put that right in your post, and people can click on it. So that is one way that you're going to get traffic. Another way that you're going to get traffic is by following people that have a lot of followers, because there is this kind of deal with, especially amongst marketers, but it's kind of like follow me and I'll follow you. So people will go out, they'll search for people on Twitter that are in their niche, and when they find them, they'll follow them. More often than not, even if it's just out of curiosity, the person that just got followed, they will check on whoever just followed them. Maybe they'll even automatically follow them back, and I'll show you how you can do that later on. So you build up this, it's kind of like exponentially, it can start growing, because every time you gain exposure to one person, you're opened up to the people that are following them. And, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. I get, like, you would not believe how many follows every single day. All those people don't stay. And a lot of times I can tell right away, they're just a marketer that is just going to spam me. And that being the case, I just block them. So that's why I only have, plus my Twitter account's not very old. But another thing about all of these tweets is that tweets get indexed by search engines. So that means, this is like Twitter is Google's dream come true, because content is constantly being added there, and it's keyword rich, right? So they index Twitter, and all those links that you're posting along with any other words that are on that page, that's all indexed. And that's going to help your PR ranking. That's going to help, all your organic search results, all that. So if you're trying to get instant traffic, Twitter helps you out. And if you're trying to, build a long-term campaign type thing, then Twitter helps you out that way as well. And I already mentioned what's on the next slide, which is, all of your followers is basically like having an email list. So that's, if you think that, the money's in the list, then apply that same thinking to this. The money is in the following. If you've got a lot of followers, it's the same type of mentality, right? And we also talked about you follow me, I'll follow you. That's a pretty common thing on Twitter. So once you sign up, you will get a lot of people that try to follow you right away, and they're hoping that you're going to follow them back. And most of the time it's okay, just go ahead and do it. If I get somebody, I have probably had in the last week, I have probably had at least twice the amount of followers that I've got right now. But like I said, once I figure out that somebody's just going to post spam messages all the time, then I just stop following them. It's that easy. One thing that you don't want to do is talk about things that people are not going to be interested in. Okay, and you probably don't want to talk about things that could be offensive to people either. Try to keep it pretty professional. And again, if somebody wouldn't want to hear about it, then don't tweet about it. And by all means, if somebody else has, like, maybe there's somebody that you know, or somebody that you know of in your niche, and they've got a blog or something, tweet about that blog, because those people, chances are they're going to find out that that you posted something that got them some traffic, and it's very likely that they're going to return the favor for you. So approach this from the standpoint that, after all, it is social marketing, it's social networking. So approach it from the standpoint that you are willing to, reach out and help somebody else. And as you're building that network, you are building real relationships here. These are people, you help them out, they're going to be willing to help you out. So post helpful links, post information that your followers are going to be interested in. And yeah, a lot of times that could be affiliate links for you. So it's an opportunity for you to make some money as well. Let's talk about the Twitter effect. And I've kind of touched on some of this stuff, but The benefit here of Twitter over, I would say, a blog, like with a blog, yeah, you post this article and people can post a comment and then you can reply to the comment and all of that. And that's very good, very effective. But I think Twitter kind of takes it a step farther. It creates interactivity to a higher degree. It's almost like chat. Okay, it's like instant messaging because you just post this real short thing and people can post replies to that. You can go back and forth. And that builds something between you and your followers. That creates something that's a little bit more personal. And that's why you don't want to just, blatantly market yourself. You don't just want to get out there and put shameful posts about, come buy my ebook, that kind of stuff. Instead, just like a friend would do, you want to post something that they're going to be interested in, something that's going to hold their interest, something that's maybe helpful to them. And then we've got the 95-5 rule that I've already mentioned. That's where 95 helpful posts, that's your ratio, 5 promotional posts. Because by all means, it's okay. You're going to promote yourself. You just want to make sure that you're not doing it too much. If you stick to the 95-5 rule, people aren't, like I told you, like people spam. They follow me, and then they just start sending messages about marketing stuff to them, and that's all that they send. And I quickly stop following them. I'll give them a try. I'll give them an opportunity to prove themselves, right? So if they follow me, I'll follow them. And as long as, they keep it on something that I can tolerate, then I'll keep them on there. But if they're just posting message after message of marketing stuff, then I stop following them. Same thing holds true for you. As long as you stick to that 95-5 rule, they're not going to have a problem with those 5 promotional posts that you put out there, because all the other stuff that you put out there is helpful to them. It's at least, entertaining. And again, the more you post, the more followers you're going to get. And this whole thing is exponential, right? People are going to follow other people just because you're following them. Or maybe they're following somebody else and they'll see you and you're following that other person, that third party. So they'll follow you. They'll just check you out just because they want to know what you're doing. So as more people follow you, as you follow more people, it just continues to grow, and it grows exponentially. Now, let's go ahead and go through. I don't know if this is going to work because, to be honest, Twitter was having some problems today. As a matter of fact, I have noticed. I'm going to try to sign out here. And if this doesn't work, okay, good. They were having some problems today because they are seriously getting hit by a lot of users, and they're just not able to keep up with it. Their servers weren't able to keep up with it. So I've been noticing they've been having some problems lately. But I'm going to walk you through the sign-up process here because there are some steps that you definitely want to take. So I'm going to try now. One thing I want to tell you not to do. Okay, like if I did Jeremy Burns, right, and I pick a password, and actually, sorry, that's for signing in. I'm trying to create an account here. So let's click join first. And the reason that alerted me is because normally when you start to do this, it tells you right away if the name is okay. So I do Jeremy Burns, and it's checking for availability. It says, already been taken. Don't do this with an underscore. And let's see if that's even going to come up as available here. Name's already been taken. Don't do that, okay? If your name is not available just like this, then that's when you just do your niche specific thing. So I'm going to do, let's say, I've got a product. I'm going to do Photoshop trainer, and I'm not going to fit in the R. And I'm probably not going to get train because that's going to be taken. You got a limit to the length. Okay, Photoshop train. I don't know if I like that really. Let's backspace here. I want to get Photoshop in there. But I tell you what I'll do. I'll do photo restore. Let me try that. Get my mouse out of the way there for you. We'll see if that's available. And whoops, that name has been taken. Now, another thing don't do that, where you just add a number to it, okay? Totally lame. You don't want to do that. You have to be able to differentiate yourself. So retouch, let's try photo retouch. And what this will tell you, yeah, I mean, all these names that I'm thinking of, these branding kind of names, if they're already taken, what does that tell you? That tells you people are already using Twitter for these types of things, for promotional reasons. Train photo shop. I think that fit, right? Yeah. And I might just have to take, okay, train Photoshop. That one is available. So let's go ahead and go with it. And I put in my password. Then you've got the CAPTCHA. You've got to read this and type it in. And if you can't read it because it's too messed up, you can click that little button right there and it'll spell it for you. Please send me, I'm not going to do the email updates. So create. Now I am using RoboForm, and I highly recommend that you do that. I highly recommend that you have RoboForm. If you're doing any kind of marketing, that thing is a lifesaver because it remembers all your passwords and usernames and all that stuff and puts it in there for you automatically. Plus, I can't remember the last time that I manually filled out a form, because you punch all that stuff into RoboForm. Whenever something comes up, you just click it. Okay, so what happens is it lets me know, are your friends on Twitter? And it'll go out there and search for me. But I recommend you don't do this. Don't fill it out. Don't do anything. Just skip it. So here, I haven't done anything, and that's the way that you want to start it out. And then the first thing you're going to do, go to Settings. And more info URL, let's fill that out. A one-line bio. This is where you want to, you can, make this where it's human readable, but you want to fill it mostly up with keywords. So let's do Photoshop, video tutorial, restoration, retouching. You get less than 160 characters. Location, where are you? Unfortunately, I'm not in sunny California with Jeremy. Protect my updates. That's fine. We're going to leave that open to everybody. Click Save. I should have changed my time zone, by the way. Let's go ahead and do that. It's jumping around on me here, Eastern. Okay, and then the next thing we want to do right away is picture. What you want to do is browse for, let me see if I got one here. I think I probably have one. Yep, right there. You want to browse for maximum size 700K. So make sure it's formatted square. You got it all cropped, and that's going to be your maximum size JPEG, GIF, or PNG ping file. And you click Save. I don't know how big that is, but that's a nice picture. All right, so we're done with that. It hasn't updated yet, but let's go back to the account. They are kind of, obviously, very busy. Let's go over to Design now. And we're going to pick one of these themes. I don't know, maybe this one. You can just click on these. They change, real time for you. And you can even, if you want, you don't have to spend a whole bunch of time in here, right? But if you want, you can do your own custom background image, change your design colors, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of customization that you can do here. But you want it to look, homey. You want it to look like a real person's doing this. and let's go home. So first thing we're going to do is just post a regular personal message. What are you doing? Getting ready to get a bite to eat at Taco Bell. And update it. And you're going to put, wait like, 15, 20 minutes between posts. And you just want to get maybe 4 or 5 posts in there. If you can post something that's helpful, again, not marketing. If you saw some website somewhere that was really neat, read an article, blog, something like that, then go ahead and post that. But you want it to be something informative. That way when we go out, and I'm probably going to pause the video and I'll do it, I'll do some posts or something, spread them out a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. But that way when you do start to follow people and they see what you're doing, they're going to come back and they're going to be like, oh, this might be something interesting to try out because he's got something helpful there. It's not just, blatant advertising stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I will, over the course of the next 15, 20 minutes, I'll post some other tweets, and then I'll come back as soon as I'm done.